Thank you for clicking play to start this presentation. Note: to control the presentation's pace, save this file under a new name, go to the File menu and click on Clear Recording, then save it again. If you do that, the limitations below will not apply to you. When using the Apple program Keynote for presentations with audio, like this one, pressing the Escape key on your keyboard will stop the presentation. When you then click the play button, the presentation will start at the beginning. It does not allow you to continue where you left off, so please prepare to watch this portion in its entirety. The duration of this presentation is shown in the top right-hand corner of this slide. You're about to watch the Go Fishglobal Structure Training Full Structure Chapters 9 through 14 of 14. Please take notes on how to make this presentation better. You can use your mobile phones for quick ideas and send them as they come to you to info@gofishglobal.org. Or, when you have more time to type out the ideas, please send them from your computer. Let's begin with prayer. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Dear Lord, thank you for every one of our many blessings, from the smallest to the biggest. Please bless our bishops, pastors, other priests, the religious, group leaders, and everyone else who stands as a witness to your goodness. Thank you for the opportunity to learn a little more today about how to share the good news with all nations. Please forgive us our sins, that we might be receptive to your word, so that those who come in contact with us might meet you, through us, most clearly. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Saint Michael the Archangel, please defend us and our church in this hour of battle. Mother Mary, intercessor of all evangelists, please pray for us. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Chapters. We've already covered chapters 1 through 8. 1. Introduction and Go Fish Global Philosophy. 2. Overview of the structure. 3. Definitions. 4. Main crews of the diocesan structure, the port and docks. 5. Establishing the port and docks across the diocese. 6. Fish processing crews and the net. 7. Diocesan structure in detail. 8. Running welcoming events. This segment covers chapters 9 through 14. 9. Aspire to be noticed. 10. Burnout relief mechanism. 11. Key unique strengths of Go Fish and strengthening ideas. 12. GoFishGlobal.org. 13. A to Z summary. And 14. Closing comments. Chapter 9. Aspire to be noticed. Pastoral ministry in a missionary key seeks to abandon the complacent attitude that says, "We have always done it this way." I invite everyone to be bold and creative in this task of rethinking the goals, structures, style, and methods of evangelization in their respective communities. A proposal of goals without an adequate communal search for the means of achieving them will inevitably prove illusory. The important thing is to not walk alone, but to rely on each other as brothers and sisters, and especially under the leadership of the bishops, in a wise and realistic pastoral discernment. Pope Francis. Be bold and creative. Person-to-person approaches are always the best. We are dealing with individual people who need your personal and undivided attention. Bold and creative ideas can help you attract more people so that then you can give them the personal attention for which they yearn. Creativity is a form of love for self and for others. Share your God-given creativity. It was given to you for a special purpose, to bring souls closer to Christ. Large signs, billboards, or handouts can plant additional seeds in those with whom we don't get a chance to speak. Some people prefer to be approached quietly. Please keep an eye out for how people respond to anything you do so that you can approach them effectively. Pray, get organized, work together, share ideas, take action. Amazing results. If a diocese or parish uses the Go Fish Global structure to cover the geographical boundaries of that diocese or parish, with only 10% of the Catholics who attend Mass participating, while using bold, far-reaching methods, then the average person living within those geographical boundaries will see that the Catholic Church is very much alive. They need to know that we still care. If we care, the unchurched people will notice, and at least some will eventually join us. What church have you noticed lately? It is okay to say it. It is okay to admit it to yourself and to other Catholics. A few groups are making a strong push right now. They know that after the long secularization period that the world has experienced, people are desperately in need of God, of developing their spirituality, and of building a loving and safe community. These churches are taking full advantage of this window of opportunity to bring members into their church. So what church have you noticed lately? The Jehovah's Witnesses have it down to a science. Did you know that part of every one of their Sunday meetings involves learning how to reach out to people door to door, on street corners, etc.? Every one. Our efforts must surpass theirs. Every day in London, they stand at underground stations handing out literature. In the US, they are in many neighborhoods, repeatedly. It is only a matter of time before people start telling themselves, I'm not sure if the Jehovah's Witnesses have the truth, but there has to be something right about their faith because their people are making an effort to reach out to me, and I am not being taken care of by the other churches. So, being noticed is one of the goals we should expect to achieve if we follow the Go Fishglobal concept. We have a plan. Let them notice you. They need to see you are joyfully connected to the vine and willing to carry out his work. Test your methods. Do friends, co-workers, and relatives living within your group's boundaries see or hear about at least one O&E effort being made? If so, you are achieving this goal. If not, then follow the Go Fish concept to expand your net, define more far-reaching missions, and carry them out with bold and creative methods. Go Fish goal. Let's make it our goal to do, at minimum, a little bit on a regularly scheduled basis, using an approach that will make the maximum impact for the time we invest. Catholics can use the methods we present, or they can use others. See other methods on gofishglobal.org. Or just come up with new, bold, and creative ideas. Not all methods allow for being seen by many. However, many people who secretly wish the Catholic Church would, many people secretly wish the Catholic Church would stand up and make a statement. Using bold and creative ideas encourages those people to join or rejoin us. Chapter 10, Burnout Relief Mechanism. Burnout. What to do when a port hand or dock hand is burned out. The Go Fish structure is designed to minimize burnout. However, sometimes it still occurs. Burnout could be caused by the efforts of a person or by other factors. The first step is to inform every volunteer before they begin that there is a mechanism or a protocol in place for port hands and dock hands in case they exhibit signs of burnout. It is called the Burnout Relief Mechanism, or Burnout Mechanism for short. Burnout Relief Mechanism. Step 1. The port or dock spiritual coordinator should speak to the seemingly burned out individual, a port hand or a dock hand, to see if they are in fact burned out or just too busy. They must warmly thank the hand for their efforts, mentioning specific benefits that the port or dock hand has brought to the port or dock. If they are burned out, the spiritual coordinator should nicely ask if the hand would like to take a vacation from their role or retire from it altogether. Step 2. If the hand needs a vacation but wishes to return later, then the port liaison or dock liaison and dock recruiting coordinator should find a temporary replacement for them. The temporary hand will hold the position until it is determined that the original dock hand is ready to return, dock hand or port hand. If the original hand wishes to retire, then a permanent replacement should be found. And if the original hand does return, the temporary hand can opt to continue to work in a supportive role under the port hand or dock hand. Note, a burned out hand, or one that is not fulfilling their responsibilities, might be caught off guard if they are approached with such a question, so it must be done gently and lovingly. By the same token, a port hand or dock hand must be willing to step aside if they are not meeting the minimum requirements of their role. Remember, this policy is explained to them when they get trained on the structure. In fact, they are learning about it right now. Chapter 11, Key Unique Strengths of Go Fish Global. 1. It is encouraging. The unique, attractive, inspiring, and fun training program is pivotal to helping participants overcome their fears via training and group expeditions. It helps them say, "Yes, I can do this." The port hands and dock hands set the example to follow. 2. Training is easy and accessible, and roles are clearly defined. Diocesan and parish-based training opportunities give everyone easy access to training. The process is also broken down into accomplishable duties for the volunteers. They can also have more than one person take on certain roles if the work seems to be too much for one individual. 3. Welcoming port and dock events. These specialized events offer all Catholic evangelists a place to send their fish. Sometimes when the unchurched are invited to come to church, there is no one there to welcome them. Welcoming events are designed specifically to address the needs of the fish and to help them desire to remain within the church. 4. Synergy creating network. The structure by design naturally networks both existing and new evangelization and outreach crews across a diocese, creating a special synergy that encourages all participants. 5. It finds the fish a home. Go Fish not only reaches out to the fish, it also holds their hand until they have found a home within the church. It even offers the Ministry Finder website and event calendar website to help this process. 6. It is well organized. The structure is well organized. We have a plan. This gives all participants confidence that comes from knowing there is a plan and that they have an entire diocese and/or parochial team behind them. They are not alone in this. 7. Explains the Kerygma versus the Catechism. If you are inclined to use the Kerygma, the Outreach and Evangelization Training Presentation, Segment 2, explains when to use it and how to add scripture or the Catechism to your communications with a fish. It also explains when to bring in a spiritual element as opposed to just intellectual responses. Go Fishglobal knows both have a place, and both are worked into our concept. 8. It is demographic sensitive. Not all people are the same. They are all individuals with different personalities, upbringings, birth orders, cultures, nationalities, and life experiences. Go Fishglobal suggests you keep this in mind when addressing anyone you meet. How to address them is the next key unique strength. See number 9 next. 9. The Tackle Box. Our website, gofishglobal.org, is a depository for all users of the Go Fish Global concept. Your local port and docks are also depositories for all evangelization and outreach methods used within your diocese or local parishes. Access them to save time when trying to discover best practices. 10. It's a catalyst for flexible teamwork. Go Fish stresses that we are created with different gifts and roles and encourages us to acknowledge this so that we can be at ease with our differences. The diocesan structure and welcoming events is most successful when there is cooperation among participants. Teamwork can cause the port monthly expedition team to grow. This is a necessity for an occasional large-scale diocesan expedition. 11. The Ministry Finder website or database. A key tool for finding the fish a home is the Ministry Finder website. One can do searches by ministry type, language used in the ministry, parish, city, zip code, etc. in order to find the ministry needed by the fish. If one cannot be afforded, then a simpler database on an Excel spreadsheet is also suggested. The Ministry Finder website or database makes shippers across your entire diocese much more effective. And 12, Go Fish Global is completely flexible. Bishop and pastors can add or remove roles, content, and even the words Go Fish Global from our presentations as they deem necessary. We are here to serve you. Go Fish Global eases people out of their shells. Ideas to strengthen the Go Fish Global structure. 1. Catechism education for all Catholics. Establish your Sunday school classes for children. Catechize the rest of us as well. Mention God's love, divine mercy, forgiveness, humility, how to put His love into action on earth, the importance of community life and a deep spiritual life. Touch upon the main spiritualities found within the church to increase cooperation within the church. Put out a call to religious life and mention outreach and evangelization. Many Catholics do not defend the Catholic faith, and many leave the church because they do not know what they are defending. They haven't experienced our church's formidable quality and beauty. Many do not know Jesus Christ, and the mere thought of speaking about their faith, even on church grounds, makes them uncomfortable. Establish a powerful and pervasive educational system which incorporates at least the things listed in white above. This is a radical departure from what is being done in some dioceses. 2. Establish dynamic groups for the young. A. Youth groups. B. Teen groups. And C. Young adult groups. Encourage parents to bring their 8 to 18-year-old children to these group meetings. At this early age, train them on outreach and evangelization. There already exist successful, excellent organizations for the young, which can provide you with the materials and training you will need. See our website or contact us at info@gofishglobal.org for further information. Well-run youth, teen, and young adult groups are very important to the O&E and welcoming process for people in those age groups. As for the young adults, ages 19 through 39 and more, they can be treated and trained as adults and given adult-level O&E training. Please see How to Run Successful Groups in the Downloadables menu item of our website. Things you might want to offer at group meetings include 1. The introduction videos on the good and bad within the church. 2. Catholic Answers videos. 3. Science and the Catholic Church. 4. An explanation on how some people enter the church to hurt it. And 5. Explain what is behind secular entertainment, including its destructive messages. A third idea to strengthen the Go Fish structure is develop a meaningful ceremony for the young who are graduating to the next age group so that they will understand that they are needed there. This is particularly important for the teens entering young adult groups. So you've got youth groups, teen groups, and young adult groups. You need a ceremony between the youth group and the teen group so that the 13-year-olds will understand the importance of their graduating to the next group. And the same thing goes for those going from the teen group to the young adult group. This one is particularly key because this is where a lot of us are lost to colleges and universities. People leave their homes. So that graduation ceremony is very, very important, and a lot of focus and attention should be placed on that one to make sure that they understand and to help them connect to the young adult group in your parish or across the diocese. 4. Develop young adult outreach and evangelization communication campaigns. First, volunteers would need to be trained, and they could be provided spiritual growth opportunities by the port and their parish's dock so that God can give them the necessary knowledge as well as the grace to get the job done. Quote, God does not only call the equipped, he equips the called. Unquote. They can be taught a few methods of outreach and evangelization, and also encouraged to come up with new ones to keep with the call to a new evangelization. Each dock could select a team of 2 young adult missionaries to invite their parishioners through pulpit announcements at every Mass on a given Sunday and at other events as well to join the outreach and evangelization effort to bring the young adults to the Catholic Church. Young adult groups and campus ministry groups could actually promote their groups as they perform outreach and evangelization. They must learn O&E methods and could also create new ones as necessary. When will it be done? Participants could have a season of outreach and evangelization as opposed to weekly or monthly efforts. This allows parishioners, young adult group members, and campus ministry members to have a time to rest between outreach sessions. One could also spread out the outreach efforts throughout the calendar or school year such that those carrying it out will have time to rest from it. Those who will carry out these outreach and evangelization expeditions must decide whether it is most practicable to have a seasonal, monthly, weekly, or other schedule. 5. Prepare those who attend your masses. Train the parishioners in basic welcoming skills. Some parishioners will not immediately attend the parish doc's official monthly training. For those, priests could start to train parishioners through instruction at Mass on how to receive newcomers, plus how to perform O&E, handing out instructional information for them to read at home, or inviting them to the parish doc's official monthly training sessions. All of those things could be done at the same time. 6. Invite newcomers at Mass to welcoming events. The doc at participating parishes should have a welcoming event. One easy way to identify newcomers is for the priest to ask if there is anyone at Mass who is there for the first time or is new to the parish. Once the newcomers are identified, they can be welcomed warmly by parishioners after Mass, invited to coffee and donuts, and invited to the doc's official parish welcoming event. Lovingly request their contact information and give it to your parish's Chptrs to follow up with them. If the pastor allows, they can also be invited to the port's official diocesan welcoming event. But beware, if the newcomers have joined the church out of a profound Christian experience or conviction, they might expect to find faithful people who know our teachings or expect profound conversations at your welcoming event. If they speak to parishioners who are not very spiritual or knowledgeable of the faith, they might be turned off and leave forever. You often only get one chance with them. Be prepared. To mitigate the damages, pastors, as well as possible, might want to prepare parishioners to receive newcomers. You can also prepare the newcomers by handing them a flyer that explains what they might experience at welcoming events, the good and not so good. At doc welcoming events, they could be shown the video that explains what they might find when they come into the church. 7. Bishops, please team up with other Christian faiths within the geographical boundaries of your diocese. Invite leaders of all Christian denominations who believe that 1. Jesus is the Son of God, and 2. that Jesus is our Savior, to a special meeting you set to discuss and set up a plan to work together for the conversion of all souls. During this time in our history, teamwork is key. United, we will accomplish more than if we work independently. Many initiatives can be accomplished as a team that could not be accomplished otherwise, even if awkward moments between the members of the different denominations arise. To mitigate the damages, bishops and pastors can make all Catholics aware of this team effort, along with the possible issues that might arise. 8. Bishops, please encourage all pastors to work together as a team for the overall good of the church. Chart a course, make it so. Pastors, please encourage each other to work together. We need you to set the example for all of us. Just as it is important for our church to work together with other Christian denominations, our own leaders within the church must work together to bring people back to the church. Most people who are not knowledgeable of the church expect to find cooperation within it. If they don't see it, they will not understand why. They could be disappointed and might go to another church, if they even decide to continue to look into Christianity. These ideas create love and enthusiasm for Christ, within and outside of the church. You might have other ideas as well. Please feel free to use them. Chapter 12, GoFishglobal.org. GoFishglobal.org offers the following menu items and features currently. A navigation menu item, which explains how to get around the website. The key menu item on our website, however, is the presentations menu item. That is where you learn about Go Fish Global. You learn about the Go Fish Global structure and how to perform O&E. Without watching the main presentations found here, you will not really understand the Go Fish Global concept. We also have a menu item for formation, where you can learn about our faith. Another one for outreach and evangelization groups, so that you can connect with groups from around the world, discuss things, learn from each other, work together. There's also a menu item for outreach and evangelization methods, where you can learn how others do O&E. We have one for downloadable resources, where you can find templates, letters, flyers, announcements, signs, and other such things. There's a step-by-step process that one can follow under the Get Started menu item. FAQs is self-explanatory, frequently asked questions. Go Fish Global Users is where we list those who are using or have used Go Fish Global. Testimonies is the testimony section. And in the gallery we have pictures. finally, you can contact us by clicking on Contact Us. In the future, we plan to offer the following: training presentations in other languages, manuals for various other things, list of Go Fish Global volunteers, people that are willing to help train you and to help you build your structure, and finally, a calendar of scheduled training sessions and expeditions. Important. To understand the Go Fish Global concept, you must go to presentations. We can't stress this enough. On the gofishglobal.org website to download and watch the full versions of both Segment 1, the structure, which you are currently watching, and Segment 2, Outreach and Evangelization. Chapter 13, A to Z Summary. Let's review the main points of setting up and using the structure, the diocesan net. This section includes the structure rolled out process from A to Z. Remember, you can use the Go Fish Global concept to establish a parish net across an entire parish, or even just a group net. For purposes of this summary, we are going to cover the entire process for a diocese. Here we go. First, a Go Fish Global representative called a Go Fish Home Office Expansionist calls and sends the bishop's secretary a basic outline of what will be covered and requests permission to meet with the bishop. Of course, if a bishop hears about Go Fish Global and is interested in it before Go Fish Global contacts his office, he can contact the Go Fish Global Home Office directly to set up a meeting with a Go Fish Global Home Office Expansionist. With the bishop's guidance, the Go Fish Global Home Office Expansionist recruits port hands to build a port. So the port is built. There will only be one port per diocese. The Go Fish Global Home Office Expansionist trains all the newly recruited port hands, paying careful attention to the training of the port liaison and the port training coordinator, as those two port hands will need to be ready to perform their duties almost immediately. The port liaison, with or without the help of the Go Fish Global Home Office Expansionist, recruits as many diocesan expansionists from within their diocese as needed to quickly spread the structure across the diocese. So the port liaison goes out and finds diocesan expansionists to help them. These diocesan expansionists will serve under the port liaison to accomplish that task. So it's the port liaison and crew. The port training coordinator and or the Go Fish Global Home Office Expansionist trains all of the recently recruited diocesan expansionists. So those people that were shown in the previous screen are sent to training. If the bishop asks the Go Fish Global Home Office Expansionists to stay and help set up the Go Fish Global structure across the diocese, the parishes must be divided amongst 1. The Go Fish Global Home Office Expansionists, and 2. The port liaison and its crew of diocesan expansionists. So here in yellow we've got the Go Fish Global Home Office Expansionists, and in green you've got the port liaison and the diocesan expansionists. Those are the parishes within a diocese, and they are divided among the two groups. If the bishop prefers to have only the port liaison and crew, in other words, local people from his diocese, help set up the Go Fish Global structure across the diocese, then that will be done. Here we've got just the port liaison and crew contacting all the parishes. Before entering a parish, the Go Fish Global Home Office Expansionist and the port liaison and crew call the secretaries of the pastors of the parishes to which they are assigned and send them a basic outline of what will be covered. At that time, they will request permission to meet with a pastor. If a pastor has heard about Go Fish Global and is interested, they can contact the Go Fish Global Home Office directly to set up a meeting with a Go Fish Global Home Office Expansionist. The pastor would then need to follow the protocol required by their bishop. At every parish whose pastor has approved, and with the pastor's guidance, the port liaison or one of the diocesan expansionists recruits the 5 dock hands called the dock startup team. So you've got the port liaison and crew, and they go to every single parish and recruit these 5 people called the dock startup teams. And those 5 include the training coordinator, dock liaison, spiritual coordinator, recruitment coordinator, and meeting coordinator. These 5 are the dock startup team. Remember, there will only be one dock per parish at which pastor approves. The port training coordinator then trains the dock startup teams during the monthly port training sessions. So there's the port training coordinator training, in this example, the St. Clair dock startup team. Every participating parish will have a dock startup team, so the port training coordinator will be training multiple teams at the monthly port training sessions. In this example, the St. Dominic dock startup team is being trained along with the St. Mary dock startup team, the St. Ignatius of Loyola dock startup team, and the Holy Redeemer dock startup team. After each dock startup team returns from their training, they will recruit the last 7 dock hands needed to finish building their respective docks. This will be done with their pastor's guidance and under the leadership of their dock recruitment coordinators. So here, the dock recruitment coordinator has recruited an expedition coordinator, a welcoming event planner and coordinator, a packers and shippers coordinator, a creative coordinator, a website development coordinator, and a dock finance manager, and an ecumenical liaison and promoter. Those 7 people round out the building of the dock at each parish. All of the dock hands that are recruited by the dock startup teams will be trained by the port training coordinator during the port's monthly training sessions. Let's look at this a little differently. Here, the port is represented by the tall green rectangle, and these are 4 docks. In this example, at the top, we've got a dock for an average parish. The second one down is a dock for a group within a parish. The third one is a dock for a very active parish, and the fourth one is a dock for another average parish. As the work required is assessed by each port hand, they will recruit an adequate support staff for themselves. Most port hands will not need much of a supporting staff. The 3 port hands who must definitely recruit a crew are the port packers and shippers coordinator, the port welcoming event planner and coordinator, and the port website entry coordinator. All 3 must be gifted recruiters. So first, the port packers and shippers coordinator will have to recruit port packers and port shippers to process the interested fish that are met during the port's monthly training sessions. 2, the port welcoming event planner and coordinator will have to recruit their port welcoming event crew, as there are many roles to fill. Go back to chapter 8 for more details on that. These are the people that are part of that crew: the psychology of events consultant, speaker and entertainment scout, presentation coordinator, professional Catholic MC, professional video sound and light technician, professional interior design and decorations coordinator, a chaplain, a name tag and collection table crew, welcome and goodbye crew, the shippers, Catholic answers crew, food coordinator, the promotion coordinator, and the setup crew. All those people together make up the port welcoming event crew. And that port welcoming event crew works under the port welcoming event planner and coordinator. The third that must recruit its own support staff is the port website entry coordinator, who is the one who will be in charge of updating the Ministry Finder website or Ministry Finder database, and they will need to recruit a data entry team for their Ministry Finder website, as the details of all the ministries offered around their diocese will need to be entered as soon as possible and then updated on a regular basis. This is time consuming and will require scheduled and regular communication with each parish. As the work required is assessed by each dock hand, they too will recruit an adequate support staff for themselves. Most dock hands will not need much of a support crew. The 3 dock hands who must definitely recruit a support crew are the dock recruitment coordinator, the dock packers and shippers coordinator, and the dock welcoming event planner and coordinator. They must also be gifted recruiters. 1. The dock recruitment coordinator will have to recruit the individuals from within their parish who will form the crews, which are made up of boats and fishers. That is a very important position, and it requires a staff. Number 2, The dock packers and shippers coordinator will have to recruit dock packers and dock shippers to process the interested fish that are met during the monthly dock training sessions, as well as all of the fish that are met by the crews in that parish during their expeditions, unless the crews want to do their own follow-up. The third one that requires a support staff is the dock welcoming event planner and coordinator, as they will have to recruit their dock welcoming event crew. There are many roles to fill in that crew, and go back to Chapter 8 if you need to see more details. It's very similar to the port welcoming event crew. They've got a psychology of events consultant, speaker and entertainment scout, presentation coordinator, professional Catholic MC, professional video sound and light technician, professional interior design and decorations coordinator, a chaplain, name tag and collection table crew, welcome and goodbye crew, shippers, Catholic Answers crew, food coordinator, promotion coordinator, and a setup crew. That team together is called the Dock Welcoming Event Crew, and they work under the Dock Welcoming Event Planner and Coordinator. The dock recruitment coordinators lead their crews, as well as the rest of the dock hands to an extent, to recruit parishioners from within each of their respective parishes to participate in the outreach and evangelization effort. Important: when they approach each parishioner, they should explain that there is an amazing plan that is being used to bring people back to the Catholic Church. The monthly port or dock training sessions are dynamic and inspiring. We have a plan, but they must attend the training sessions to understand it. So here they are going out to the different parishioners. Some say yes, some say no. Also, recruitment within a parish is ongoing. It should not be overbearing, but it must be consistent, even if not done often. Dock hands must do their best to inspire parishioners to attend the monthly training sessions. If they can't make it, they can be directed to GoFishglobal.org to download the presentations or to a pastor-approved version of those presentations. The dock recruitment coordinator sends the recruits to the port monthly training sessions with permission from the pastor, or to their dock's monthly training sessions, or both, to be trained. So here we've eliminated the ones that are not interested yet, and the willing parishioners are sent off to training. The advantage of getting trained by the port is that you are encouraged by meeting people from other parishes, and you might learn a very effective method about which the port was informed by another parish. So here are the recruits getting trained by the port, and they can also be recruited or only recruited by the dock training coordinator. Your dock might be more in tune with what is happening in your geographical area. That is an advantage of going to your dock training coordinator. Crews will be formed within each parish from among those same participants, the willing parishioners. Here in this example, across the top, we've formed a crew at a parish by 5 parishioners, and at the bottom we've got another crew formed by 4 parishioners. Mind you, crews can be of any size, and this is just an example. The number of crews created will also vary by parish. Since crews choose the types of missions and methods they will take on within the geographical boundaries of their parishes, what one crew does might differ from what another crew does. Crews will be made up of boats and fishers. See segment 2 also for more on this. Time is limited, so each crew, through investigation and trial and error, should try to choose the most effective outreach and evangelization method. The Outreach and Evangelization Groups and Outreach and Evangelization Methods section of GoFishglobal.org offer resources to help the crews find other methods. If those do not suffice, they can look elsewhere online or develop their own. If possible, crews should choose a method that will help them be clearly noticed by people other than just those with whom they are personally speaking. Idea: the geographical area covered by the parish should be split into sectors and named anything you like or numbered. The sectors could then be divided among the different crews, so that each crew will know what geographical areas within your parish's geographical area to address. For example, St. Mark Parish's geographical zone could be divided into 3 sectors. 1, the green sector, 2, the yellow sector, and 3, the red sector. This technique is used by numerous churches who evangelize, as well as by groups who recruit people. It helps crews take more ownership of their sector. Best practices could then be applied to sectors where the crews are struggling. So here we go again with the example where the port is the green rectangle, and then we've got the docks at the top, the dock for an average parish, then a dock for a group, then a dock for a very active parish, and another average dock at the bottom. At the average parish, we have a public school crew. This is a very important crew that we suggest every single parish have because they address the students at public schools in their geographical area. In this example, that particular dock also has a concert crew that goes out to concerts to evangelize. In the second example, we've got the dock for a group. They have a retreat crew because they are a retreat community, and the primary objective is to bring people to those retreats. In the very active parish example, we've got a cancer patient crew, a homeless crew, a public school crew, of course, and a public park crew. And then in the average parish at the bottom, we've got a retirement home crew and a public school crew. All of those crews go out to fish, and then they bring home the fish contact information. Of course, while they were fishing, they were also inviting fish to events. The fish will then need to be processed. That is to say, follow-up with the fish will be required. Some parishioners will fill the roles of packers or shippers for the parish dock or for a group dock in cases where the group prefers to have its own dock. Packers and shippers process the fish. So here at the bottom you've got the port, represented by the green rectangle. The blue rectangle represents all of the docks across the diocese. And then under the docks you've got the crews, which are comprised of boats and fishers. Here the red rectangle for the boats represents all of the boats and across the diocese, and the same goes for the fishers' red rectangle. The boats and the fishers, during their outreach and evangelization effort, gather fish contact information. What we're talking about now are those who process the fish. The packers, who are given the fish contact information and then enter it into Excel spreadsheets, and then the shippers, who call the different fish to find out how they can connect them to the church. The shippers and packers appear in this section of the flowchart. Some parishioners will be recruited to join the dock welcoming event crew under the dock welcoming event coordinator. So we have either blue events or purple events, welcoming events, and the teams that put those events on are called the welcoming event crews. With permission from the pastor, the port might even recruit people from your parish to join the port welcoming event crew under the port welcoming event planner and coordinator. That would be an honor to be selected. So here's where those welcoming events appear in the flowchart. You also have red events, which are the Mass and sacraments, to which a fish could go. Of course, as we mentioned before, we prefer to have them sent through the welcoming events so that they can get a good understanding of what to expect in the church before attending any other church event. This flowchart represents the net, the diocesan net in this case. If a fish is interested in going directly to a red event that has no welcoming event crew, you should clearly explain to them why it is important for them to go to a welcoming event as soon as possible. The entire net should always try to get a fish to go to a welcoming event. Welcoming events are Go Fishglobal's short-term solution to the challenge of our church's inexperience with O&E, reception and retention of fish. That makes our welcoming events one of our most important features. We only have one chance to make a good first impression. With everyone taking their places and carrying out their roles, the fish will have a much more pleasant, intellectually stimulating, spiritually fulfilling, and safe initial experience. Their needs should be met as quickly as possible, and roles within the church could also be offered to them. Active Catholics will be invigorated by the teamwork among participants of the net, which will encourage them and others to continue to carry out the mission we are all called to do. The non-participating Catholics, those who are going to church but are not involved directly with outreach and evangelization, will also be motivated by the teamwork of the net, which might encourage them to take action. The fish, in gratitude for what the church has offered them, might step up and join the net, perpetuating the life of the net. So here we have the flow chart again. Here is in this example, the boats and fishers, the crews, bring in the fish contact information after they've gone fishing. That fish contact information is handed to the packers, who enter it into Excel spreadsheets and then forward it, usually by email, to shippers. And then the shippers call the fish and invite them, along with the invitations that the boats and fishers had previously done, to the blue events, purple events, and in some cases red events. And then fish that attend blue events will hear about purple events and attend. And they will also be invited there to go to red events. Of course, people at blue events could also go directly to red events. And then people at purple events could go to the red events. Now, hopefully, those who are now involved with the church and red events will eventually rejoin the net and become part of it, thus perpetuating the life of the net and beginning the process all over again, going out and collecting fish contact information to be processed. Remember, groups or ministries within a parish could be trained to have their meetings become welcoming events of sorts. The better prepared a group is to receive newcomers, the better chance they will have of retaining them. Some parishes, groups, or individuals will choose not to be connected to the structure. That is okay. We are still one church in Christ. The next slide shows how non-participating parishes or groups would look while working parallel to those in the Go Fish Global design structure. So here's the Go Fish Global structure in operation. The red rectangle represents the entire net: port, docks, crews, boats and fishers, packers, and shippers. And then we've got the welcoming events. And this is how, of course, the fish flow through that spreadsheet. Through that flow chart. And then, of course, the fish hopefully will come back and become part of the net. That is the Go Fish Global structure in action. Where you have, in cases where you have non-participating groups and ministries, they would prefer to send their fish to their events and to their parish's mass, and then, of course, have them just go right back to their group meetings. Now, in certain cases, groups that are run within a parish that happens to be involved with the Go Fish Global structure might find a case where one of their fish hears about the parish welcoming events and attends. In doing so, they could be connected to the Go Fish Global structure and might hear about, parish welcoming events. Port welcoming events, or other dock welcoming events across the diocese. This scenario could upset a pastor or a group leader. To avoid that uncomfortable scenario, the dock liaison should draft an agreement with the pastors to handle such situations. If there is no dock at that parish, the port liaison should be the one to handle drafting an agreement with the pastor. Burnout. If at any time the port or docks notice that one of their port hands or dock hands is burned out from working too much, the burnout mechanism could be applied to relieve the person from duties that might be too much at this time. Throughout this process, anyone involved in the diocesan net might wish to become a Go Fish Global Home Office expansionist. The Go Fish Global Home Office should be contacted and a training session requested. If after training the individual seems capable, they would be assigned, as needed, to speak to a bishop or other leader somewhere around the world. That would start the process all over again in a new diocese. The idea is to repeat this over and again in order to better be able to spread the good news of Jesus Christ to all nations. Chapter 14, Closing Comments. It's okay. There is no need to memorize this presentation. Refer to it as often as needed or not at all. If only some parishes establish docks, that is okay. Some parishes will have more crews than others. That is okay. If you only fill a few of the port or dock positions, work with what you have. If your diocese or parish only uses a small part of this structure, that is okay. It does not have to be fully implemented to have a positive effect on your diocese, parish, or group. The fish expect to find Christian cooperation within the church. Let's live it. And they'll know we are Christians by our love, by our love. Yes, they'll know we are Christians by our love. The Go Fish structure promotes cooperation and networking among ministries, and it can train any group that already exists, meaning those that are currently functioning that are established before you began to use the Go Fish Global concept. Any group, whether their sole purpose is outreach and evangelization or anything else like feeding the homeless or singing to the elderly at hospitals. Vocations. Due to the fact that many of the fishers experience spiritual elements to outreach and evangelization, they sometimes get a first-hand taste of some roles within the religious life of priests, deacons, brothers, sisters, monks, and other religious. It helps them better envision themselves living out a future religious vocation. Go Fish suggestions that relate to Segment 2, Outreach and Evangelization. Avoid politics. Do not speak officially for the church. Direct the fish to a bishop or pastor-approved reliable source, including the bishops and pastors themselves. Invite knowledgeable leaders to speak to the fish. Do not condemn the fish for being unchurched or for sins they are committing or have committed. Do not speak poorly of other churches or the unchurched. Send fish through a welcoming event to avoid having someone who is not prepared to receive them unwittingly turn them off. We encourage all Catholic groups to be trained on how to best run a group. See GoFishGlobal.org, how to run a successful group, and also to learn how to welcome newcomers. Go Fish Global encourages the docs to really energize their parish so that numerous crews with varied missions and methods will be created at their parishes. Remember, others can use welcoming events. With few exceptions, any ministry or group within a diocese, whether or not they use the Go Fish method, is welcome to use the port's welcoming events. In the case of docs welcoming events, one must ask for permission from the pastor or leaders of standalone ministries who put on welcoming events. Typically, having fish from outside of a parish or standalone ministry attend those docs welcoming events increases the attendance of those churches and groups. It is a win-win-win situation because the fisher is helped, the fish is helped, and the parish and standalone group often benefit. The Go Fish Global Home Office contacts dioceses around the globe to offer them the Go Fish Global presentations. If a bishop accepts the request for a meeting, the Go Fish Global Home Office will send forth trained individuals or experienced Go Fish port hands or dock hands to put on the presentation. If the bishop approves of establishing a Go Fish Global structure across their diocese, a Go Fish Global Home Office expansionist will be made available to the bishop in order to help set up the structure. In most cases, the person who gave the presentation will be a Go Fish Global Home Office expansionist. Dioceses can also request that Go Fish headquarters establish a net for them by contacting us at info@gofishglobal.org, or you can find us at gofishglobal.org directly. This is Segment 1, Diocesan Structure. Segment 2 is entitled Outreach and Evangelization, O&E. If I preach the gospel, this is no reason to boast, for an obligation has been imposed on me, and woe to me if I do not preach it. 1 Corinthians chapter 9, verse 16. The church needs us. Fresh ideas can really catch people's attention. Your diocese might be highly diverse. If so, a multi-approach system will be required. Go Fish suggests you embrace the best practices for outreach and evangelization from around your country for your diocese to the extent deemed necessary by your bishop. There are also methods in other countries whose people are heavily represented in your country, particularly your diocese. For example, if you are in Canada and you have Brazilians in your diocese, it would be a good idea to look into outreach and evangelization groups and methods used in Brazil. Successful methods from other countries could also be adjusted to better fit your culture's needs. Please mention to your bishop, pastor, or group leader the roles that you jotted down that you feel called to do. Also, suggest to them the people you know whose names you jotted down for certain roles that you think they might be able to do. Thank you for answering the call. Go forth and invite someone home. Joining the Go Fish Global Home Office crew. Go Fish Global is careful not to recruit people that are involved with groups at their parishes. Our goal is to increase your membership, not take people away. Anyone interested in becoming a Go Fish Global Home Office expansionist must contact us. If you are involved with a group, you must get permission from your leader. If you are selected, trained, and passed the Go Fish Global Expansionist test, you will be sent out to a diocese, parish, or group as needed. Interested? Please contact us today. Go Fish Global is currently working on becoming a United States 501(c) tax-exempt organization. See quote from tax code below. You, U.S. citizens, may deduct charitable contributions of money or property made to qualified organizations if you itemize your deductions. IRS Publication 78. Please donate today. Go to gofishglobal.org. Click on Donate. Fill in the required information. You can donate from your cell phone right now. Go Fish Global. Working consistently to help bring about an effective new evangelization. You've been watching the structure training, The Full Structure. For retreat requests, system questions, and suggestions, please contact us A. through our website, gofishglobal.org, B. by email at info@gofishglobal.org, or C. by telephone at our number in the U.S., 786-344-0952. Go Fish Global is constantly trying to better itself. If possible, please use your mobile phones to email us quick ideas on how to make this presentation better to info@gofishglobal.org. Or when you have more time to type out the ideas, please send them from your computer. Thank you. You have just finished watching chapters 9 through 14 of this 14-chapter presentation. This concludes the structure training, Full Structure, which is segment 1 of Go Fish Global's training. When ready to learn how to perform outreach and evangelization, which is segment 2 of our training, please open and play Outreach and Evangelization Training, Full O&E, chapters 1, 2, and 3.1.